Good morning and welcome to Connect Church Online. Man, we're so excited to have you with us. We're going to do a little thing from Genesis about back to Christmas. Christmas times are coming. It's coming around the corner. This is going to be part one, and we're going to talk about Esau on the second part. We're just going to mention him on this part. But anyway, Jacob had met with God in Genesis chapter 28. He had the dream of the ladder, and all of that. And he says, and God says he's at the top of the ladder, and people's going up and down the ladder. He says, I am the Lord. I'm going to give you the land. I am your God. Your seed will be like the sand. Your seed, your children, your inheritance will be a blessing to others. He said, I am with you. I'm going to go everywhere with you. And it says, I will bring you back here again. Like, what does he mean back here again? Well, he called this. He said, man, he's like, he's excited. He's nervous. And he calls God awesome. He said, this is the house of God. This is the gate to heaven. Man, he is excited right here. And so anyway, he renames the place. It was Luz before. And now he calls it Bethel. And so he names it Bethel. And it means the house of God. Okay, the house of God, and that's where he is meeting here, and this is setting us up there from 28 all the way to 34 and 35 for right now. So that's 10 years has passed. 10 years have passed since then, and some bad things have happened, and been some discouragement, and God is trying to help him through some of this stress and through these times, and he's trying to say, if you want to go back to the Old Testament, by Jesus bringing as a baby, God allowing his son to come as a baby, and then him dying on Calvary. So we got to go back to Christmas. Jesus had to come, but yet when he came, he brought the payment for the penalty of sin. And by his stripes, we are healed in Isaiah chapter 53. So you can see right here. And so in Genesis chapter 35, verse 1, it says, God said to Jacob, get up, go to Bethel, and settle there. Man, he's saying, build an altar where I appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau. 10 years now has passed. Now God wants Jacob to grow in a closer relationship. Man, there's so many times as Christians that we go through even 10-year periods where, things, we're getting kind of dry and we're getting kind of slim. And man, you can see at the beginning after Genesis 28, man, he just set up a pillar, an altar. He is worshiping God. He meets Rachel. Man, I'm telling you, things are getting exciting in 29. And man, all of a sudden he begins to meet his daddy-in-law, and he is getting deceived and tricked and used. Man, it's just things beginning to happen, and so life happens. Things begin to build up, and we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. But God wants him to grow closer. He wants a better relationship with God. God wants him to do three things. He wants him to return to Bethel, okay? He wants him to remain and dwell at that presence of God. We're talking about Christmas presence. Man, he needs the presence of God during this time, man. It should be the most joyful time that God sent his son during this period of time that we celebrate. But a lot of people are discouraged. A lot of people are defeated. And a lot of times in their life, at the times we ought to be excited, we're discouraged or defeated. And so he says you need to return. You need to remain. Verse 2 says you need to remove the strange gods. You need to clean up yourself and get ready. Why is God calling Jacob to Bethel? Why is God calling Jacob back to Bethel? And that's a question we're going to ask. Now, we're going to get to the first point today, and that is for healing for hurts that have already happened. Man, there's a lot of hurts that need healing from things that have already happened. Man, you can look in chapter 34, 10 years, a long time, and a lot has happened. Jacob continued. He is tricked. by Laban. Man, I'm telling you, he said, you work 7 years, I'll give you Rachel. Man, he worked 7 years, and he gave him Leah, not Rachel. So he said, oh, we're 7 more a year. Man, and he said, and anyway, then he said, you got to work for, your sheep and your oxen, man. And all of a sudden, he says, you know what? He said, I have been changed, my labor, my wages have been changed 10 times. Man, I'm telling you what, he begins to get a little bitter. He begins to get a little tired. That's never going to be good for me again. And it's like, and he's forgetting it. He's with the love of his life. He's got his family, but yet still stressed. He knows there's something missing here. Maybe you can remember Psalm 23:3, where it says, he restoreth my soul. Jehovah Rafika. He restores it. That's the God that we need right now. We need to understand that when the name of God, when he's talking about Jehovah Rafika, he is saying, you know what, my soul needs restored at this time. I mean, what's going on recently right here? Well, if you want to look at 34, you'll see that there's been great folly in Israel. Man, I'm telling you, you look at it and you see his daughter has been defiled. Wow, I mean, it's terrible. He loves his children, and then this one has been defiled. But not only that, his sons have disappointed him. Simeon and Levi take things into their own hand, and they cause a stink, and they cause a danger. Man, I mean, then his sons loot, rob, and kill the people in the land. That's going to cause some bad issues there. And of course, you can see his daughter, his sons, and him, or even us, if we look at it, he is discouraged. He is stressed. He is worried. He is at his wit's end. Let me tell you, there are things going to happen, and you're going to be discouraged. You're going to be defeated, man. Even seem like destroyed. You're going to be divided. There's all kinds of things going to happen and stress. But remember, you will get bitter, or you can get better. But let me tell you something. Here in this passage, you can go to the house of God, or El Bethel, you can go to the God of the house of God that we'll talk about later, because you can go to Bethel, or you can get bitter. Go back and build an altar. Let me tell you, go back to those early days and build an altar. Go back. Tell you what, having a happy life, a joyful life, is a lot more simple than people want to think about it. It's serving God, going back to Christmas, going back to God and seeing that he loves you. He restores your soul. Man, let's go back and let God restore our soul. God bless you, and thank you so much for listening to Connect Church Community Online today.